Hey folks, welcome back to This Week in Cyphus Space. I'm Jarek Cyphus, aka Sagerton Khan. Thanks for sticking out with this. Thanks for supporting me, and we got a lot to cover this week. Believe it or not, I was going to have my usual 15-minute video, and I don't think it's going to be that short. As you can see, I have a Yeti mic now. I'm using a better camera. It's actually just an iPhone 10. But, better hardware across the board. I've heard your feedback. We're moving on with this. So let's get right into the quick stream recap from the week. It sucked. It's not even worth talking about. My viewership was garbage. It's fun to play those games once in a while, but it wasn't good. But at least next week I should get some viewership because it's Star Wars Galaxies. A lot of it's just me having fun with Galaxies. It's going to be a whole bunch of ILM dev stream stuff going on. We're going to just have a good time in Star Wars next week. Moving on after that, I may start the new season early. I may not. There's going to be a preview. I'm probably going to bring the video out maybe Sunday or Monday sometime. I want to do a little fun trailer like I do for every season. Season of the Patriot is scheduled to start with the start of summer, but I may start it sooner depending on how viewership falls over the next 2 weeks. Season of the Patriot is no longer going to have guaranteed Sunday streams. It's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays guaranteed only. I'm bringing back Thunder Thursday for that. Tuesdays is going to be a Tactical Tuesday, so no more Trekkie Tuesdays for a while. Sorry, Brother Hal, I know you're a big fan, but we'll come back to that, I promise. It's going to be PvP-centric, so we're going to be doing games like Thunder Thursdays for War Thunder are going to be making a return. Tactical Tuesdays on Tuesdays are going to be rotating through a variety of different competitive games like Destiny 2, Battlefield 5, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then the PvP modes of the other MMOs I play. There's some PvP in Star Trek Online, but I doubt I'm going to really participate in that because it's not really compelling per se. But Star Wars Galaxies, Star Wars The Old Republic, even Final Fantasy XIV has decent PvP and some Guild Wars too. So that's pretty much what we're going to cover for that season. Season of the Harvest will start in fall towards the end of September. I think it's the last Monday of September starts fall, so that last Tuesday-ish of September, there's going to be Season of the Harvest. It's going to be spooky themed. Read it for yourself. I'm not going to talk too much about what games I'm going to play, but it will have a very fall horror theme to it. And I'm probably also going to put it in a theme where I play games way harder than I'm used to, on difficulties way harder than I'm used to, and just die a lot to everyone's entertainment. So, and then for the quick in real life part of this before we move on to the rest of the video, in real life, I'm out of the Navy. I'm a free man as of today. Freaking badass. And I don't know how to feel about it yet. You know, it's been a good run. I've had a great service. I can't thank the men and women with whom I've served enough. There's going to be, speaking of the men and women in uniform, there's going to be a segment in this video coming up here in a moment that we really need to talk about something heavy and get it out of the way. And because of that, we're going to slide, since next week's Star Wars Galaxies, we're going to slide the whole Randy Pitchford, game industry, Bethesda, EA, blah, 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 Activision, wah, 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 drama down a bit, because I'm sure, we're going to have plenty to talk about with Bethesda and Randy Pitchford, because, those and drama in the industry go together like peas and motherfucking carrots! I returned to work on June 20th. So that means a lot of my free time that I've been using to kind of get this set up. Thank God I got it done before I started work. But now my time's going to be a little bit more precious to me. Depending on how the success of this goes on Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, and even with a little bit of my writing, I don't plan on stopping writing because it's one of my favorite hobbies other than a little light game design. But to keep doing this on a multimedia stage, I need to justify the extra time against my life balance, because obviously I have my wife, friends, family. I'm a new uncle, so I need to kind of look at the whole big picture now, and it needs to be. I'm not trying to shake y'all down and pinch every penny out of y'all's pockets, but I need to be able to justify this, especially since I already volunteer a lot of my time for Legends, and I'm not allowed to make any money off of that for capital R reasons, by the way. It's just my time's going to be precious soon, and I know some of y'all who do watch this channel enjoy it, and people who tune into Twitch, when they do tune into Twitch, enjoy it. I'm yet to receive any real feedback on my writing. I would like that to change. But for those who've actually read it, though, thank you. For those who support me on Patreon, thank you. I think I still only have 2 patrons, but we'll get there. I'm going to at least get through Season of the Patriot, maybe start Season of the Harvest before I finally make my decision on whether or not I'm going to keep doing this. But without further ado, let's move on to the rest of the video. That Army tweet. Mentioned it last week. We're going to discuss this. We're going to talk about it now. The Army tweeted on Memorial Day weekend, "How has serving impacted you?" For those who are familiar already with the bit of the tinderbox that erupted after that, I think you already know how serving has impacted a lot of people. If they weren't severely impacted mentally or in other ways physically, a lot of our men and women in uniform over the past century, honestly, I mean, you could shell shock a shell shock. It doesn't matter what term you want to call shell shock, PTSD, battle fatigue. I don't care what you call it. We call it PTSD because we had to give it a medical term. It is what it is. People suffer from it. Someone who watches this channel regularly suffers from it. Someone I served with suffers from it. I, to some degree, also suffer from it. That's one of the many things I'm going to have to deal with the VA. The point is, if you or anyone you know suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, anything, and you have not talked to someone about it, I cannot stress to you enough how far behind the power curve you currently are. I cannot stress enough. Please talk to somebody. For the love of God, Zeus, Hades, whoever you worship, even if it's yourself or your wife, like I do, talk to somebody. That's the first step, honestly. If you can't afford it, if you don't have the insurance, if you don't have VA health care, if you're not already going to the VA, you should be going to the VA. Unless you got a DUI and you got out on a dishonorable discharge, if you have an under honorable conditions DD-214, you need to take your ass right now to the VA and get seen. I don't care if it's anything from a sprained ankle, a broken elbow, something that is agitated from your military service, or if it's something as extreme as PTSD. Get help now before it's too late. I don't even want to get into the statistics on how many of our men and women in uniform have committed suicide because of PTSD or service-related anxiety or other problems like that. All I can say is get help. Even if, like me, you just had to talk to somebody. You know, in Star Wars Galaxy's Legends, I can't even tell you how much the community has helped me. Not just staff, but the players. I mean, there are so many veterans involved with Star Wars Galaxies, going back to when I was playing it live 15 years ago. I cannot stress to you how important it is to find someone who can relate to your situation and talk to them. It doesn't matter if it's someone you're sitting at a table with at the American Legion, or if it's someone you're logging in chatting to on a video game. It doesn't matter. Talk to somebody. I cannot stress that enough. I don't want to hold this video down with a slew of negative Nancy stuff, so I'm not going to post any of the statistics of suicide. You can look that up for yourself if you're curious. What I'm instead going to do is in the description below, I'm going to put a bunch of links, a lot of veteran hotline links and VA references that you can use if you or someone you know is suffering from PTSD. Talk to them or get them some help today, please. That's all I can do is just plea that everyone, myself included, talks to someone so you can cope with whatever experience you've had that triggers your anxiety, your depression, your PTSD, or whatever it is. Every life is precious. I don't care who you are, what you've done, especially if you've served. If you're a brother and sister in uniform, or a former brother and sister in uniform, you have earned the privilege to get the help. And it's as simple as that. So, talk to someone, talk to me. I want to be available. You can ask about how to join my Discord in the comments below if you'd like. Otherwise, look in the description below. There are plenty of resources and references that are going to be in the link. So, use them. Help each other, help yourselves. So while we're thinking about it, there's something else I want to talk about, namely about the title of this video, The Good, the Bad, and the Tryhards. I'm pushing issues with the game industry to a later week because I want to kind of keep this video around the 15-minute mark. But I want to discuss a little bit about good, bad, tryhards. By that I mean players. There are a lot of players who play online video games. A lot of them are a very antisocial lot, or a socially awkward lot. I have my own social awkwardness at times too. Part of the reason why I do these videos and Twitch live streams is to kind of make myself a little less socially awkward. But I had an experience in Destiny 2, on Tuesday that really kind of covers the entire spectrum. In the process of doing my weeklies for Crucible and Gambit, I encountered all three types of players. I had really good Crucible matches in Mayhem, for example. I had a 5-win streak, did above average on every match, which is amazing because I play a Code of the Commander's Sentinel, which, usually gets shut down by Nova bombs and tethers and all that other happy stuff. But I did relatively well. There was a couple matches I ranked second and even first on the winning team. And that's good for me because by no means am I a great Crucible player. You wouldn't catch me dead in competitive unless I was farming one of the pinnacle weapons. I'm not going to do that. But that's where it comes into the tryhard part of things. Let's just get the ugly part of this out of the way. Tryhards playing in quick play. This is just my opinion on this. I'm probably going to catch flack for this, and I don't give a fuck. I really don't. At the end of the day, tryhards ruin quick play. They get together in their pre-made groups. I mean, anybody who's ever PvP'd in a game, whether that be Destiny 2 or World of Warcraft or Star Wars The Old Republic, knows that if you're solo queuing, it sucks when you face a pre-made. I got lucky in one of those 5 win streaks and completely shit on a pre-made clan team. Screenshot attached. That felt pretty damn good because most of that clan was running around with freaking Skullfort and damn One-Eyed Mask. We all know how they are. But those are examples of tryhards. Later, I think I just was doing a random quick play, wasn't even doing Mayhem at that point. And I got completely trounced on by another clan and it didn't even help that nobody on the team seemed to care. Nobody on my team seemed to really put in any effort. I don't think they were necessarily bad players.
they were just so exasperated by encountering tryhards that it wasn't even worth the effort they were putting in, because nobody was in comms together. There is no VoIP like in the days of Battlefield 2. So unless you're using a Discord group, which I'm going to get to that in a moment, it was really, really hard for them to coordinate and get a plan together. That's why tryhards, I call them tryhards because they're competitive players, high ranks, high glory and valor ranks, and they're playing in quick play, not always solo queue. You know, I get it. If you're a tryhard, you're welcome to solo queue. It's when you're a tryhard clan group who's just running over and seal clubbing on quick play that it ruins the experience for people who are new to Crucible. Stop that. You can't sit there and talk shit in a freaking match about how bad someone is if you never give them a chance to get good. If you're shutting them down at every turn because you have every pinnacle weapon in the game, they can't learn from their mistakes because they never have an opportunity to see what movement they did wrong in the first place. Because you're just running over them like a damn tsunami. Knock it off and get your ass back in competitive. Or reach out to those players and bring them into your clan or your Discord or your TeamSpeak or your Mumble or your Vent, whatever, and teach them how to play the game instead of shutting them down and giving them no incentive to try. That's all I got on tryhards. Bad players. My Gambit experience. This was freaking terrible. I get it. Not everyone's good at the game. I'm not great either. I am not great at Crucible, but I like to pride myself on being a pretty damn good Reaper in Gambit. I have had quite a few good matches. I had way more bad matches. And the reason being, as you'll see in one screenshot I'm attaching, I pretty much carried my team, kills and motes deposited, and my team just didn't put in the effort that the other team did. The other team had a bunch of above average good players, and that's why they beat us. All the effort from my team, and we didn't lose by a lot. It actually came down to the wire. The problem is, if you look at the stats, the way the stats broken down, I did a lot more effort. I put in a lot more effort, rather, or skill, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't break things down like Evade, Mesa Sean, and a lot of the really high-end gamers do. I'm just offering my opinions based on my observations when I'm playing the game. I'm playing with others. I'm in a clan, the Ready Line. It's not a very big clan, but I like to think that each of the players I play with in that clan bring something to the table, and they are very, very good in their respective classes. I'm not a striker. I'm not a hammer striking Sunbreaker, but I'm a pretty damn good Sentinel, and no, I don't shield bash. I use Code the Commander because I like to play in a support role. Full Metal Boxers is our hunter. One of the nastiest tethering sons of bitches I've ever met in either Destiny game. And then Mav is our warlock, who has the scariest Nova Bomb from downtown I've ever seen in my life. So we all bring something of each of the classes to the table, and ironically, we all play Void. How funny is that? Maybe we have a little darkness inside of us. But the point is, those are good players because we all play to our strengths and try to avoid exposing our weaknesses as much as we can when we coordinate. And that's what makes good players. Bad players don't do that. Bad players refuse to learn at what they're good at, and they just go in there and derp around. And I get it. I'm not trying to say bad players shouldn't play the game. I'm not saying that bad players shouldn't play Crucible, and I'm not saying that bad players shouldn't play Gambit or even Raid. But bad players should learn how to get better. I'm not going to say get good, because I think that's a freaking elitist ass cocksucker thing to say to someone. I'm warning you, there's a lot of profanity in this channel, so don't even get butthurt about that. But at the end of the day, if you are a bad player and you know you are a bad player, you need to stop for a second, take it in, and look at, is my lack of effort or skill because I either don't give a shit, or I'm not trying hard enough, or I'm just not familiar with all the mechanics of the game, is my lack of performance to the detriment of other people who are playing. And if that's the case, or if you're just having a really bad day, I have those, believe me. If you're just having a really bad day, turn it off. Or go run around, do some public events, or go farm lost sectors, or do some strikes. You know, people get carried through strikes all the time. You're not really going to be hurting anybody in strikes. Hell, at this point, I don't even think you're going to hurt anybody in nightfalls unless you have extinguish on and you're just terrible at it. And I really haven't met a player that bad yet. At least not on PC. I can't say that for PS4, because I've not done a lot of nightfalls on PS4. I do them all on PC. But at the end of the day, if you're a below average player, and if you take a minute to think about it, read the room, as we like to say, if you are to the detriment of others' fun in whatever game mode you're playing, try something else. Just try something else. Okay, folks,
Eververse is at your service.
Put in a lot of work up to this point to try and get some engrams. Of course, if this doesn't work out, we're going to be spending the sulfur I've had stockpiled for each of these wonderful seasons they do. But let's go ahead and try and get that spicy ramen, shall we? Spicy ramen, please! Okay, that's paint. More ornaments. More dye. A freaking hunter ornament I'll never gonna use. More shells. More ornaments and paint. That bike I'll never use. A ship I'll never use. A helmet that, so look at that. Look at the dead ornament that I thought I already had. Alright, well I have 1,600 silver. So let's go get 2 of these.
Another satisfied customer.
That's why I always make sure I have enough silver. Do that, try again. Monochromatic, don't care. Don't care. Shit, don't care. This is how my luck's gonna go. Oh, precious metal shell might be cool though. Huge gift of bright dust is always nice. Luna dove. Okay, the exotic ghost shell's not bad because sometimes they're really good. Oh, okay. Dance. Is that dance ball? Okay. And no ramen for me. That's okay, I guess.
Come see me again,
Better luck
darling.
next time. So that about wraps it up for the week. Next week is all Star Wars Galaxies. My YouTube video for Friday next week is going to be purely focused on Galaxies. I'm going to cover a lot about Galaxies. There's not going to be any drama, no depression, no sadness, no goofiness, nothing. Well, there'll be some goofiness because it's me having fun in my favorite game of all time because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and we just want to have a good time next week. So we're going to focus purely on Star Wars Galaxies, my history with it, the friends I've met along the way, what got me into modding, which eventually led to me developing for the Legends staff, so on and so forth. For Legends community, stay tuned for the Friday feature. All kinds of stuff that's going to be coming out for ILM. So this is the home stretch, 2.5 and 3.0. After that, it's just life support and letting y'all take over the modding world when it comes to that kind of stuff. So thanks again for tuning in. You know what? Thank y'all. It's been a... Sorry for the scatterbrain words. I'm not even going to edit this jumbled scatterbrainness out of the video because this is me. I'm going to get better at this. With y'all's help, I'm going to get better at this. And I've just had a lot going on this week. So thank y'all for putting up with this and supporting me. I hope to catch y'all next week. Jarek Cyphus, signing out.